Hi there, I'm Justin Pritchard, and look what's here. This is the Kia Stinger, a twin turbocharged Korean rocket sled designed to satisfy your taste for thrills in ways that eating a colorful laundry pod simply can't. Roll the tape.
Now that's more like it. You're looking at all-wheel drive traction and lots of it. In fact, this thing is a champ in the snow, and we're going to get into why soon. First, the setup. 44 grand gets you into a Stinger, and 50 gets you into a fully loaded Stinger GT Limited like this one. Both are propelled by this, a 3.3-liter V6 running twin turbo for 365 horsepower and even more torque. She rips. Power runs through an 8-speed automatic with paddle shifters and is routed to all four wheels with millisecond precision. This all-wheel drive system is as good as any I've ever used, constantly measuring and contemplating and doing what's needed to keep you moving and to place the car exactly where you like at all times. And even when you really challenge it, you don't really feel much of anything happening from the driver's seat. This all-wheel drive system just bites in and goes. Stinger is designed to give shoppers more affordable access to something like an Audi S5 or Infiniti Q60, and here are a few things you need to know. First, if you think this looks great on your screen, just wait till you see it in person. Photos don't do the sculpting and proportions and stance of this thing justice, even if you've seen many of the styling elements on popular pricey cars that have come before it. The look confused camera guy James a little.
What is it?
Eventually, we both decided that the Kia Stinger sort of looks like a Maserati. Second thing to know, this has 4 doors applied to a body that's low and swoopy and wide like a sports coupe, but actually, this cabin is pretty accommodating, at least up front. You drop down into it, it's a low driving position, but once seated, it's surprisingly roomy, even for wider front seat occupants. The center console is low, so it doesn't feel like it's chewing into your space. In back, 2 average-size adults should have minimal issues with room, though head and footroom do tighten quickly for larger occupants. And though it's a busy and techy-looking cabin, there's a lot of open space on various trim panels, bringing your focus equally to the high-tech touches and the abundance of nice materials used to trim everything. It looks great, probably even better than the 50 grand price tag leads on. Some notables include the wireless charging pad for your smartphone, these beautiful toggle switches for the climate-controlled seats, this vivid head-up display, and well, just look at it in here. There are tons of delightful little details and touches, little bits of extra effort deployed to surprise. Hell, even the key, which almost no one ever pays attention to, is unique and distinctive and beautiful. You think I'm a monster because usually you store a car like this for the winter under a blanket in your garage until it's warm, but if you do that, you're missing half the fun. I drove this Stinger for 5 hours through some of the nastiest winter weather of the year, and it was great. Steering and braking are key reasons why. As a sports car, Stinger is designed to be obedient and responsive instantly to driver requests. With a set of proper winter tires, this extends fully into the driving experience on snow and ice, or in my particular case on that stormy day, 4 inches of heavy, thick, wet slush. Hitting that with just 2 of 4 tires failed to cause anything more than a tiny squirm at the steering wheel. Braking hard with vastly different traction between both sides of the car, and it's the same deal. Even when you need to emergency stop on the worst possible surface, it just pulls down straight as an arrow, no squirming, no drama. Accelerate over lousy surfaces and you feel little from the all-wheel drive system other than, well, traction. And the stability and traction control are programmed very well for whatever speed or drive mode you're using. All said, this thing is expert at cruising in crappy winter weather. I've literally driven crossover SUVs that weren't as stable or obedient in the snow.
Now don't take any of that to mean that you can drive any faster or with less care and attention when the roads are slippery. If you're being a moron, you're still going to die. But if you're driving safely for the conditions and if you understand the laws of physics and what happens between the tire and the road right here, you'll install a proper set of winter tires like these Pirelli Soto Zeros, and then it's nothing but confidence, and there's no need to park this one after Halloween.
Looks great in the snow, all covered in hundreds of kilometers worth of winter grossness, doesn't it? And how's about that twin-turbo engine? Well, she's a flexible performer. Drive gently and you hardly know it's there. It fires up pretty quietly, doesn't mind being woken at 20 below, and with all that low-end torque, you're up to speed in a jiff with just a glance on that throttle. Use the cruise control. This one will easily sneak up well past the limit if you're not careful. Open it up and a tidal wave of thrust body checks you into your seat and you feel like a heavy person is sitting on your chest. That's me imagining, not... never mind. I can't imagine anyone wishing for more power, especially given how much torque you get at such low revs and how that stays on strong and thick even when the tachometer closes in on redline. And isn't that instrument cluster great with the slightly slanty, sporty font? How's it sound? Good. Nice bit of a growling rumble to it, but I do wish it was maybe 30% louder. Keeping quiet is classy, but if you're like me, you'll probably be considering a trip to the parts catalog for an exhaust upgrade before long. Thanks to adjustable dampers that respond to your drive mode selection, Stinger rides as soft and relaxed or as taut and bothered as you'd like. In comfort mode, it pretty much feels like a slightly sporty family sedan. Pick sport mode for firmer shocks and faster, heavier steering if you're feeling feisty, or customized however you'd like. Overall, she's sporty, but she's not going to try and bust your spine. Headlights, and especially high beams, are easily top 10 territory, amongst the best I've ever used, and there have been hundreds. Also, if you like steering with the throttle, engage sport mode, kill the traction control with a single click, and let her hang. Stinger goes full drift mode with no BS in 1.5 seconds, which is Kia's way of saying they care. God bless you, Kia. God bless you very much. Complaints? Right now there's no manual transmission available, and on a sadness scale between 1 and making fun of cowboy boots in front of a Luke Bryan fan, I'm like a definite 9. Mind you, the paddle shifters are pretty fun, not as responsive as some, but entertaining enough to use from time to time. Further, the suspension can get harsher and noisier than I like in extreme cold. My biggest gripe, though, deals with how just one part of this car deals with winter. These thin tires and wide open wheels allow snow and slush to be blasted inside, meaning the brakes are often wet and lack a strong initial bite when first applied. Further, snow and ice build up inside of the wheels, which can make the Stinger vibrate and wobble like a washing machine with a single sweater on a high-speed spin. Some of you enjoy that, and if you don't, it is pretty easy to clean the wheels out with a snow brush. End of the day, if you're contemplating one of these, but you're concerned about using it in the snow, don't be. Just get to your Kia dealer ASAP, as I hear the wait for one of these is fairly lengthy, but it should prove totally worth it. Thanks for watching.